like that. See?
No, that ain't gonna happen. All right,
Yeah, good
here we
enough.
go. Anybody have any questions before we get started? All right, we'll start with the headings. Okay, page 1, which is starting with the anticipated revenue for fiscal year ending September 30, 2025. Page 1, anyone have any questions or comments on page 1?
Good.
Everybody good?
Page 2.
Page 2.
I'm good.
I have one question on page 2, and it's briefly on the decrease in revenue for the business license inspections.
Your line number?
42,112.
42112.
Is that for the additional examiners?
No, this is the
So
revenue.
speak up because I'm having a hard time hearing you down here. Are we on?
Is these mics, these speakers on in the back? Can you hear me?
Can we hear you, Benny?
I can hear you now.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Was that you, Ms. Johnson, that was speaking?
No, disregard that. I see what happened. I see what happened. All right,
Oh,
got
okay.
What happened?
you. It was just 700,000, and I'm looking at 2023. So
That's
they got-
just for the inspections department only.
right.
Okay.
All right. Any questions on
I'm good on
2?
2.
All right. Page 3.
I'm good.
All right. All right, page 4. I had 2 questions on 45,206, Ms. Beville, and 45,207.
Okay.
Zero funds for, did we transfer that out on the Riverfront events and amphitheater advertising?
Well, as you can see, in 24, we don't have any budget as well. And normally, it depends upon who's collecting it and how they book it in the system. If there's no budget there, they put it on another line item.
Okay,
for that
so
department.
that's my question. Are we moving this to another line item because the Riverfront events, that's a beautiful place for us not to be having no revenue generated?
Well, right now, based on what has been booked, you can see we have no revenue being booked in that line item. I would have to do a little research and tell you where those funds are going for any collections that are being made down there.
Okay, all right.
You make a note of that on the answer? It's 42,
They probably
26,
moved
and
to another
207.
line item. We don't know what department it's moved to. All right, any other questions on item number 4? I mean, page 4? No.
I know the planetarium, 45,112. I know they recently opened. Is there nothing anticipated for the planetarium for the upcoming year?
That's considered an enterprise fund, so you wouldn't find it in the general fund budget. It would only be in there as a subsidy, just like the zoo and Mets, where we have to subsidize their budget because they don't really generate enough income to cover their expenses.
Okay.
All right, page 5. All right, council, now we was on page 4. We ain't gonna be going back to 2 and 3. All
I'm
right,
good with
page
5.
5.
I'm good with 5.
Everybody good on 5?
Good 6.
All right. Page 6. And you see what the bottom line number is for the projected revenue, total anticipated revenue. All right. We'll skip page 7. And we'll go for the department budgets. All right. Page 8, which is the council budget and the mayor and the cabinet. Any questions on the council?
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question about the mayor's budget going up $600,000 total. Betty, can you tell me what that's all about? Got an extra $100,000 in travel?
Okay, the $600,000 in travel.
No, it's not travel. It's the whole budget, $600,000.
Okay, well, for one thing, there are more positions that are in that, in the mayor's budget. Yeah, more positions that are in that budget now compared to when we were in the budget season last year. There are a number of new hires that are in his office, and so that is why the salary has increased, as well as the fringes that go along with that.
About travel, an extra $100,000 in travel.
And that's because some of those individuals that are now in those spaces in his office, they will be doing some travel for his office. Now, to get down to any more detail than that, I would have to do research and talk to, I think Jeremy is the one that prepares this budget for that office.
Is Jeremy's salary in that budget?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He's part of the
Jeremy's in
mayor's
there.
office and his staff.
Okay, so Jeremy's in there too. Okay, Jeremy's there. Okay.
Yeah, that, all of that increased it because, see, that staff was never there before, and I think he's got 3 positions, including Jeremy. That 2 people work under Jeremy, if I remember correctly. An admin person and a project manager now.
Okay.
So that's a total of 5 people working in there?
For Jeremy? No, for Jeremy's staff, right now, there's 3 people, including himself.
So how many is that for the mayor's staff now?
Say that again now?
How many people are in that staff now?
In the mayor's
Total?
office?
Yeah,
16.
16, okay.
We're budgeted for 16 in that office.
All right, any other questions on 8? All right, page 9, risk management.
Good.
Hearing none, I declare the public hearing has been held. We move to
Okay,
page
well,
10.
thank you.
Anything on page 10, finance?
Let's cut that to about 10%.
I'm good. That's gonna be my salary when I retire, okay? I don't know if it's 10% though,
Lord.
but whatever it is, I'll save some money like that for you.
I hear you.
All right, neighborhood services, page 11. Ms. DeVille, what's the number of employees we have in neighborhood services?
Angie, can you give me that number? I don't have it in my head. Total of 9, I'm told by the budget officer.
It went up.
That one's gone almost
went
triple.
way up.
It's on triple in 3 years. That's hard to,
Mr. Mitchell, you're looking confused on that answer.
Yeah, I'm trying to see the number, we was waiting on the number of,
employees.
in that department.
In which department?
Neighborhood services.
We just said 9.
9.
Use your microphone,
Oh, you
please.
can't hear it?
Use your microphone.
Yeah, I can't hardly.
Test.
You said 9?
9. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll pull it up here and put my mouth on top of it, okay? Mayor may not appreciate that, but I want you to hear me.
Okay, we got you. All right, any other
Good on
questions?
11.
Okay. So we see, council can see the HR department is already in the budget at a total of 197,607. So move anybody on item number 12, information technology.
Good.
All right, page 13.
Parking management must
Yeah,
have
we're
moved
doing something
somewhere.
different with parking management.
Yes, sir. That was a department, no longer a department, but a division that is now under municipal court. So those expenses are in the municipal court's budget.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions?
Good.
Page 16, I'm sorry, 15? No, I'm sorry, 14.
14.
They sticking together. That must have been CC Calhoun page. Now, okay, anything on procurement and grants? Page 14, nothing really stands out.
Okay.
Okay, page 15,
Mr. President,
Mr. Mitchell.
I wanted to ask about the Office of Violence and Prevention. I know that is that mostly done by grants, Ms.?
It is, and also the grants department. For whatever grants they're working on, the administrative costs are usually a part of that grant, the operating costs as well. Sometimes the city has to put a proportional match, and that's why you see the dollars that you see there for the grants department. And right now, because of the funds that were allocated to the OVP department, or office, I guess I should say, you see that there's no budget in the general fund budget for them because it will be operating under that grant from the ARPA allocation.
And my question is, in that grant will put how many, do we give the number of individuals? Because I know we talked about a social worker going in that department, but
Okay, that's going to be a program with the ARPA funds. I think that Mr. Compton could better enlighten you on that than I can. But as far as the department itself right now, there are actually 3 full-time staff members there. We're in the process of hiring a grant accountant, and there are 2 other positions that are going to be, I'm sorry, wrong department. I backed up. OVP, because I had the 2 together. we have 2 full-time employees, I know, in OVP now, correct? And so if Mr. Compton will come up, he can enlighten you as to how that operation is going to be done and how many staffers will be working.
Sure thing. We've revamped that department. It'll still be 2 in OVP, but Family Guidance is going to be awarded the CVI funding from ARPA, and then there'll be an additional 7 people, and that social worker that you're talking about will be a part of that, and they'll work with the ground team and with the hospital-based program. And then you'll have Crime Stoppers. They'll have an additional 3 people. So that'll make up your entire CVI team.
So that's gonna make that budget go up this year, but it'd be paid by the ARPA money?
So both years, it'll be 2 years of ARPA funding that'll take care of those
Okay.
organizations I just mentioned.
So the third year, we have to worry about general fund.
That's correct.
Or find some new grants.
How much is that, or a grant?
And we are looking at grants as well. CVI grant, for instance, it's like $2 million, so we're hoping to get that as well.
Okay.
So, Mr. Compton, you're saying that we have already awarded the ARPA funds or the grants to, I think you just said
Family Guidance.
not Family Guidance, the other one.
Family Guidance and Crime Stoppers.
Crime
So
Stoppers.
we have not sent out the letters because
Okay.
we're waiting on Commissioner Singleton to sign the resolution
Okay.
for the matching funds. Once he signs that, and we talked about that in a meeting today, then
Okay.
we'll send out those award letters. We didn't want to send them out without the money, so.
Okay, all right. So you're waiting on Commissioner
Wait,
Singleton,
that's
County
right.
Commission.
That's right.
I know you know something about devotion. Let's go into it right now.
Gotcha.
All right, gotcha. Thank you. All right, any more questions on that?
No, sir.
Item, page 16. City events. All right, no
Cutting
questions.
back on that one. That's good.
Good. All right,
Reduce that budget.
yeah,
And let me tell you why that's a reduction. It's because some of the staffers that were in cultural affairs, and they were moved to this department from this department to what? Cultural affairs and Parks and Rec? Yes.
Okay.
So that would show a decline in the total budget.
okay. All right, any questions? City Clerk?
No.
Not on your life.
No, you good with that one? All
I'm
right.
good with that one.
All right, page 18, municipal court.
This is where you increase.
That's what it
This is
increased.
where parking
Parking's
management
going
has
right
been
too.
moved to.
That was $1
Yes.
million.
That's 1.5 what I'm looking at.
And that's why their budget increased the
Okay.
amount that it did, outside of your merits and COLA.
Okay. 18, beginning legal department, going to page 19.
Okay with that.
Yeah, they basically kind of level funded.
Pretty
So-
much, other than the, like we're saying, the COLA and the merit increases.
Okay. All right. Office of Inspector General, page bottom of 19 to 20. Any questions on that?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, in the planning department, I think you might have spoke on that earlier. It was an increase of $700,000. That's something that was transferred into that department?
It was the land use division.
Okay.
It was moved from community development, if I'm correct, Angie, to the planning department.
Okay.
That staff, the entire staff.
Got it.
All right. Any other questions on 20? 21? Yeah, I got bagged that one up.
That's the-
That's where the decrease is.
I see.
Decrease here. Okay.
Yeah, okay, they increased there. Okay.
The land use
Community development, any questions on 2135?
Good.
Comments? All right, page 22.
Let's back up, page 22 on economic development.
Yes,
We
sir.
got 2 people in there now. We got, what's the staffing in that department?
The current staffing level there, we've got a director, as you well know, you're saying community development or economic? Which one did you mention?
Economic
development.
Okay, economic development, that's going to be our new director, Mr. Robinson. And I know he has an admin person up there, and I'm not sure, Mr. Tater, you on board?
Did Mr. Williams leave? Is he gone?
Mr. Williams?
Darren Williams?
Washington,
Darren
Darren Washington, yeah, he's with
Yes.
the,
Yes. How many people are in, the Economic Development Department right now?
Right now, it's just two.
It's a
The
private,
admin and the director?
Main Street.
Right,
Main
okay.
Street.
I
Yeah,
just
he
wanted to
went
be
to
sure I
Main
was
Street,
correct
Mr.
on that.
Main Street?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
I'm good.
we good? Page 23,
37.
I'm good.
That's new, what is 37?
37.
37 is one,
that's falling in the new
yeah,
That
one of the
SS
departments.
Montgomery?
public, I think Economic Development Department.
Small, and minority,
It's about-
business development, yes, it's a new department on our org chart that was voted on.
What department it is?
And so we only put enough budget in there to cover, the director and, an admin person, for now, because it's gonna take a minute to get those positions filled. So we felt like that was enough budget.
All right,
We fund.
any other questions on Public Works, 40?
I'm good.
All right, everybody good? All right,
I'm good on
page
24.
24,
Landfill must have moved somewhere. I guess it's still there.
It did, Mr. Jenwright. It's now in the sanitation department, which is
Okay.
still under Patrick Dunson as the cabinet head.
Okay, good.
all right. Page 25. It basically
I'm
level
good.
funded there.
That was fun there, yep.
All right, any questions on 26? All right, page 27. PPI. Everybody good on 27?
I'm good on 27.
All right, page 28, sanitation.
I'm good.
We need more.
Okay, so you see now the budget went up here, and that's, landfill is included.
Yeah,
in
we
their
saw it,
budget.
you see the increase in that, yeah. Okay. Page 29.
That's
All right.
a administrative increase.
Everybody good?
I'm good.
Moving on. Page 30. Street maintenance, traffic engineering.
All right, we got, okay, I'm good.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Street maintenance.
All right. Okay. Street maintenance is paving, okay? And I was talking to Patrick earlier. Patrick, what you're saying now in paving for the council to hear tonight, you practically got, can you hear me?
He's coming up.
Yeah, we gotta be able to hear him.
You were saying in what you've got budgeted and what we've got in the budget right now, you feel like that each council district would be about 275,000 of paving next year per district. Is that correct?
Well, what Betty and I had talked about, currently you've got about 1.2 million coming out of the gas tax toward paving, plus an additional $100,000 per council member go into paving, so it's about 2.1 million total to do paving, and we would, look to try to make that as close as we could between the various districts to even split as best we can.
Okay. It answers one of the questions I know we've had as a council. So,
All right,
we
thank you,
know what
Mr.
we got
Johnson.
coming. Thank you. Thank you, Patrick.
All right, page 31.
Now, we budgeted for full capacity on police again, right? We got-
No, sir. We
think it cut to
budgeted for
400.
400.
400,
Because
490.
we unfunded 90 positions in order to be able to, handle the pay increase of 15% across the board for sworn officers. And you see it's just about a wash there from current year through the FY 2025 budget.
Yeah, 59 million versus 59 million.
Correct.
Ms. Beaver,
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Beard.
how are you? Do we have a number today of where we are?
On the number of officers
Yes,
that
ma'am.
are on board.
Everybody in the police department, yes, ma'am.
Is anyone here from the police department? The number that I heard maybe last week may not be the number this week. But I do know that, Chief, Grayboys came into our last council meeting talking about, some new recruits coming
Yes,
on board and what have you. So, but for the actual number of sworn officers, as of today, I do not have that number.
I just wondered how close we were to this 400.
Oh, you're not close at all? No, ma'am. We're trying to get there.
You're about 100 short,
About 100 short.
at 400. I think reality of it,
I'm sorry, Mr. Jim
they're
Wright.
hiring as fast as they can hire, but
They have to go to school.
they're hard to get them. So that's gonna be an issue that we got. But I think if you listen to Trevos the other night, he's doing everything he can to hire people, and he's got the money in there to hire them. So you've got, what you're saying, you got 400 funded in here now,
Yes, sir, positions.
and you're gonna be
and
less than
probably
that now.
100 of those are vacant, or maybe a little bit more than that.
Maybe so.
I don't think we don't have, that's a moving number.
Yeah, it's a moving number, it's a target. So,
So, but you
he
got a
would be-
target of 400, and that would give you, and the money's in there for 400 right now.
Yes.
Good.
If they can recruit and get in that many people to fill those positions, then we have up to 400. Okay?
Good deal.
Ms. B,
Yes, sir.
I hate nobody from the police department, but for us, the advertisement of, like, for us, them doing recruiting, what line item would that come out of for us, the police department?
The advertisement of recruiting,
Marketing.
the marketing of those pay increases once that, the budget has been adopted, is what you're asking me?
No, like for as advertisement, travel, training. So would advertisement come out of training? Would it come out of professional? What would it come out for us?
But I would assume it's gonna be their professional
Professional
services.
service.
And I don't have the breakdown right here in front of me. Angie, can you pull that up?
Add
See?
dues and,
They gonna get
You got over $3 million in total. honestly.
okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's an increase in their professional service fees, Mr. Mitchell, from, almost $80,000. Yeah, so I think that's where they're gonna get that advertisement and stuff that they'll get from that.
But they've got enough budget, they can do that. And within their department, we can move funds from a budget from one line item to another. Even out of the salaries amount to cover those expenses until they actually have that number of sworn officers on board. It's professional service. And they do have it, okay.
Right? Any other questions on
The budget officer, Ms. Williams, just looked at their budget in detail, and they do have it in their, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Their
Yes.
professional services line item in their budget.
Advertising. Good.
All right, any other questions on police? All right, page 32, fire department.
Jesus Christ.
I'm okay.
Their budget is extremely high.
Overtime.
Overtime.
How can we help with this overtime? That's a lot. That's a lot of work.
According to the chief, and I know he's got some staff here, if someone wants to come up and address that, because of the number of, and I don't
They
want to
don't
jump
get
in.
professional
Oh, there
service, so
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were here.
it was his professional service. So.
I know he was doing some
You were not,
recruiting, but
you were not here when I said that.
Good afternoon. Yes, ma'am. What's that?
good afternoon. How could we, I know that you were doing some recruiting efforts, but for the overtime, what is gonna be a benefactor in assisting with getting that down?
So, we are staffed by what we call the NFPA 1710. So, all your fire trucks should have 5 people on it.
Right.
And so we ride mainly with 4 minimum. And so you don't have they gotta take vacation, they're on sick leave, they're on military leave, they're on family sick leave, they're on all that. So our staff really should be like 500 right now. And we are funded for 33 this year. The Mayor Reed has done really, really good. We have received 46 additional people since he's been in office. So we're trending in the right direction. But until you get to that 500 mark, you're gonna have your overtime. Because what happens is you got sick leave, you got family medical leave, you got injured employees, that's gonna be out. And then when they take vacation, it's the vacation season.
Retirement.
That's what creates your overtime. And so what we do, I create a biweekly budget report, and all that is identified in there. Every time we have, like today, I'm assuming that we had 15 and 19 overtime, just to staff the truck. And so it's also a kind of shot in the dark too, because from year to year, we budget 3.6, but it end up being probably 3.7 right now.
It's 3.7.
And so, you just don't know what's gonna happen through the year.
Chief, while we got you in front of us, all of us have a concern about 911 calls, and you're the one to get a lot of them, not all of them, but you get a lot of them. Are we having any difficulty on emergency runs for the paramedics with 911 calls?
Not that I'm aware of. That would probably be a question for Mr. Fortner, but I hadn't really seen
I mean,
anything.
you haven't had any complaints from your staff?
No, sir. No,
Okay.
sir. No, sir.
All right, any other questions for the chief?
I'm good.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Page 33, EMA,
I'm good.
everybody good? 33, 34? All right, now, Ms. Vivia, the
Yes,
sports
sir.
and entertainment facility, that's new as a transfer out of park and recreation?
It is.
Okay. So that's one person?
It's gonna be we put a budget in there for one person right now and an administrative person. Yes, and, because we know it's gonna take time to get those positions filled.
Okay.
And we didn't want to over budget because we knew what the budget was gonna look like with everything else going into it.
All right. Any other questions on 34?
Building maintenance?
So, they got room for one
Anything,
more over
anyone
there.
else building maintenance?
Building maintenance, okay, I'm good with 34.
All right, 34, 35, park and recreation. They basically level funded.
Yes, level funded.
Yeah,
Okay. We've had fallout on that the last couple of years.
yeah. All right,
Mr. President, can I ask a question
yeah,
right quick?
Ms. Beard?
Yeah, Parks and Rec, Ms. Beeville, I said something about park rangers to you.
Yeah, you did send that to me, and
Yes,
I put
ma'am.
it out there when we were in the budget hearings back in July, I believe it was. So nobody took that and went with it. You were here during the budget meetings, were you not?
Right, I was. I
Yes,
went to
during
one
some
of
of that time. So there's nothing in this budget to include any assistance from park rangers.
That's sad.
But Betty, let me ask you a question. You've got, this budget had a fallout last year. I think it'll have fallout this year also because it won't spend all the money.
We're so hopeful, yes.
So you may have enough in this budget to cover the park rangers if they decide to hire
If
them?
that's the case, yes.
Yeah.
Because we're covering that landfill sale that Mr. Dunson hit me with, about $8.5 million, if I'm correct. Right, I'm sorry, Patrick? Yes. We had some mandated, we do have, which they're not paid for yet, things that have to be done up at Biscuit Stadium. We also, out of fallout, because when I came on board, it was just regressive to me how much short-term debt we had.
Yeah.
And so we started using fallout to help pay for equipment in the city. And so it's eliminated all of our short-term debt. We only have long-term debt, which is probably at its lowest level since I've been here. I don't know what it was prior to mine coming on board in
Is the new
2004.
equipment leased?
No, sir.
Like sanitation trucks?
The last
Garbage
trucks that were
trucks?
purchased in the current year, those trucks are on a lease purchase agreement to be paid off $3 million a year over the next 4 years.
And then they'll roll over?
No, they'll be the city's trucks. They belong to the city. They've been paid, the vendor has been paid. We're repaying the bank. Because
Okay.
there was some confusion. If you remember, I had to come back before you all with
Yeah,
another
yeah.
ordinance.
The number.
It was not a true lease, okay? It was actually a lease purchase agreement. So, those trucks have pretty much, I think all of them have been delivered, and are getting put into service. And so, that is still a form of long-term debt. It's not short-term debt for the city because it was over more than 1 year.
Okay.
Okay?
Ms. Beeble?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, too, on here, I know that there's nothing here for, and I don't know, so just correct me if I'm wrong here. Our skate park needs some.
I'm sorry?
The skate park that was taken from downtown that's moved out to Gunner, we're going to repair some of that this week. But, yeah,
The skate park?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, enlighten me a little bit because, I don't skate anymore.
Well,
So tell
you
me.
go, it's pretty fun. It was taken from downtown in 2016, and they've been promised one. The current skate park, and Marcia's telling me capital improvement, I don't know. So, where is there money that we can
How much,
look into that?
how
She's
much you
trying to
talking
find out
about?
about
How
the
much money you
for the
talking about?
improvement of the
Do
park.
what now?
How much money you talking about?
She's talking about the money for the improvement of the parks. I was telling her that's in that
I'm not
capital.
talking about the
capital
improvement. We're improving it right now. It's
Okay.
fixing to be shut down for a week with improvement with Brandon Dean and I, that we're working on that because it's in a safety hazard right now that we've got to go in there and just put some Band-Aids on it. But in the future, we were told in 2016, they were plans and everything. It's just been on hold. So I don't,
I'm not aware, so
Okay.
if we can, let's have a sidebar on that.
Okay, that sounds great.
And if it's something that we can figure out, if we've got nearly as much fallout as some people think we're going to have.
yes, ma'am.
Then that may be something we can work with.
Okay.
I don't see it, and I do the finances every day,
Okay.
but
Well, let's
we
do
can
that.
put it on the list and see where we can get to with
Okay,
it,
all right, thank you, thank you.
All right,
I just got one question.
Ms. Johnson?
So, thank you, Mr. President. The land and building improvements line 740 under Parks and Rec, that's a zero. Is that coming out of building maintenance?
Okay, this would be like capital outlay, and we don't pay for equipment and capital outlay out of our operating budget anymore. Okay?
All right, any other questions on 36? Library?
I'm good.
Good. Communication?
How many are in staff now in communications? Two?
No, it's more than two. How many positions do they have, Angie? I know there are 4 people there now, because they recently got a new person. I think his name is Corey Clark. And don't ask me his title, because I can't tell you off the top of my head right now. They have 4 action,
We need to look back at the fire department.
they have 4 people on board right now and budgeted for 7. Was that you, Ms. Beard? I'm sorry, Ms. Johnson?
Johnson.
Yes, okay.
President, before we get too far, I wanted to go back to, can we go back to page 29, line 794? It's a transfer to other funds.
29,
29, line 794.
79.
Up on the sanitation.
I'm on 29, I'm looking at sanitation, and what's the
Line
number?
number 794.
Transfer.
Oh, transfer out. That budget is from what, Andrew? That's not the gas tax, I know. We're gonna look it up.
Okay.
That's in the sanitation department. Okay, we can come back to it if you want to. She needs to pull it up on the computer.
All right. 37. Page 38. Museum,
I'm good.
mission. Everybody good? Page 39, cultural affairs.
That doubled in size.
And that's because some of those employees that we were talking about earlier in
City
what was the
events.
city events were
Okay.
moved. Yes.
So you
Thank you,
transferred it.
thank you.
All right. So page 40 is our debt service and other expenses, the retirement, that's basically gonna be flat. So we guys have got questions on page 40? Nothing really.
I'm good.
All right, page 41.
Betty, on page 41, transfer out debt service, but we had transfer out on our monthly budget too. And last year, at the final audit, we transferred out over $70 million. Do we have a list of where all that money went? I mean,
We
I'm
can
sitting
get
here
that
looking-
for you. The audit was done, yes, sir. I can get that.
Okay, because we got 19 million in the present budget for transfers. Will that number end up being 60 million again, or 70 million?
In transfers,
Yeah, you look at transfers in your monthly budget. It's showing 19 million, 19,400.
well,
some
you know,
odd
we
thousand.
transfer our debt service. We don't pay it straight out of the general fund budget. It
Yeah.
has to be transferred.
But you got a line item, so that's part of your line item transfers, your debt service plus the transfer fund?
Yes, sir. We have to transfer that into what we call a project account and pay it from there.
So you're not expensing it out in the normal budget?
I'm sorry, say that
It
again.
shows an expense on the normal budget.
It's
I'm
an
looking at it.
expense because when you transfer it, that is treated as an expense.
Okay.
That's what creates the expense in the general fund budget.
I'd really like to know, on last year, it's 70 million with the transfer, I'd like to know what it was.
Okay, we can get the detail on
Okay,
that.
thank you.
It's in our financials.
Okay.
All right, page 41, any more questions on 41?
I do, Mr. President. On payment to government agencies, line item 78704, that's the city county personnel. I just have a question on, being that the county opted out, what does that mean as far as when it comes to our budget and the payment? Does that increase for us or for, because I know it was a split at one point, so what does that mean?
It was
Well,
80-20
it's
match.
split 80-20 because the city had the largest number of active employees. And so, that's where the $1 million comes from to, support that department because those, employees are on the, county's payroll, not the city's, okay? So, at this juncture, I'm not at liberty to say as to what's gonna happen to them because I have no idea. We put it in the budget because we knew either way we were gonna have some personnel
To
costs.
pay, yeah.
So you got it covered with what's.
So it's covered, yes.
Yep, all right, page 42. Nothing on 42?
I'm good.
Page 43.
Mr. President,
Mr. Mitchell?
I think about maybe 4 years ago, I think that I asked the council, consider Alabama State for being on this list due to the economic impact that they have. And if you could see that they did not play here on Labor Day, and you can see the difference between last year and this year. I think Alabama State came to us and I think asked for $300,000, and I looked at doing it over a 3-year period, talking about $100,000 a year to help them stay in the city of Montgomery because it would have been nice to have them here for Labor Day. I think the impact that they would have had, it would have been 10 times what we would pay, giving them $50,000 or $100,000 a year to bring the impact that we're receiving from ASU. And I think we always say we're doing in kind, but we are not doing actually any monetary acts from Alabama State. And I think they have been coming for the last 2 years, and I think I have been asking for maybe the last 3 years, and I just want the council to consider putting them on the line item for the impact they made to the city of Montgomery.
Where we get the money from, council?
All right, thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Ms. Johnson? All right,
I'm good on 43.
we still on 43.
We're good at 44.
It's depending on what the council does on the question that you asked, Ms. Johnson. You know, that's $1 million, 1.1.
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right, 43. We're moving on past 43. All right,
Good.
all right. And that's gonna do it. Any questions on the 4040 total budget? Any questions from the finance director?
Okay, we're gonna go back to page 29. Ms. Johnson had a question in regards to that transfer.
Yes.
Ms. Williams looked it up, the detail on it, and it has something to do with subtitle D. Can you explain?
I can't hear you, Ms. Beville.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's called Subtitle D. We actually move those funds out and they go into a project for, which department is that in? Is that street or bill? Oh, is that the landfill? So if Mr. Johnson would come up, he's still here, he can give you more detail about how those funds are used compared to me, okay?
Hello. Those funds get transferred out from Subtitle D, and they're used for multiple things at the landfill. A lot of those are environmental compliance. Some of those are maintenance to wells, what we call leachate pump wells. They're also for environmental compliance, monitoring and testing. It has to go on throughout the year where we make reports and all to 8M. So all of those are, majority of those are compliance costs that we spend at the landfill to keep us in compliance with the Alabama Department of Environmental Management rules and regulations. So.
Any other
And
questions?
it's sitting in its
Any other questions?
Mr. Calhoun, those funds are sitting in its own project so that they can keep up with the actual cost of it. It would be more difficult to do it, expensing it out within the budget itself.
Okay, so it's just a line item to take care of your special project.
Right.
Okay.
I got a project.
I don't have any questions of the council. Do you all have any other questions in regards to this proposed budget for FY 2025?
Okay, any other questions for Ms. Beville? Any other council member have anything?
Thank y'all so much.
All right?
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to point out that Mr. Grimes sent an email
Oh,
to
yes.
Ms. Betty, and y'all got them all, so however that wants to be handled.
He did, and I saw it, but I'm gonna have to respond to that. I didn't have enough time to get that information
I
together.
just wanted to make sure it was on the record. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're good. I think Mr. Jenwright mentioned some of
Yeah,
the
I have it
questions.
here.
And, Mr. Calhoun has it as well.
All right? Any other questions? Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? Any other questions?
None,
Good.
thank you.
All right, meeting adjourned.